We start the week with a prayer for our brethren all over the world to be safe and protected, and obviously the coming of Mashiach. Chapter 121 of the Tehillim. Shalom Aleichem says, "Einay le'ahorim ein yovi ezri ezri mimadinoi oy seir shemaim ba'oretz alitin lamed raglacha al yonim shemrecha inay le'yonim elishon shem Yisrael Adonai shemrecha Adonai tzilcha al yad yiminecha yom Hashem shlei yakeko v'yorei arba lo ilu Adonai yishmocha mikol roi yishmer es nafshecho Adonai yishmor tzitzo v'yacho me'ato v'yad oy lo." Let us give some tzedakah. In fact, when we say give tzedakah, we don't give tzedakah. We take. Because by giving tzedakah, we get in return way more than what we invested. We invested a few dollars, a few pennies, a few coins, whatever it is. And what do we get in return? The opportunity to connect to Hashem. And more than anything else, we're hastening the redemption. Last night, we made Havdalah. Havdalah, we took a cup of wine, we filled it over to the brim, we smelled the spices, we lit a braided candle, reflected our nails on it, and then we said the blessing and we drank the cup of wine. Let me reflect for a moment on what this Havdalah represents, and I want to share with you a beautiful thought that I heard yesterday from Rabbi Naf. He quoted Rabbi Yankiv Emden. So Havdalah, our sages, the Anshe Knesset Agdoleh, the man of great assembly in the 4th century, have established, just like we do Kiddush Friday night, we sanctify the Shabbat, we welcome the Shabbat with a cup of wine, so too when we separate from Shabbat, this should also be done. The Havdalah eventually was instituted with a cup of wine. We smell the besamim, the spices. For what? To uplift our spirits. The reason? Because Shabbos, we receive an additional soul, which is called the Neshama Yesera. Motzei Shabbat, at the end of Shabbat, it departs from us. So we rejuvenate ourselves by smelling the spices. Because according to Kabbalah, it says that the sense of smell is the closest to spirituality, closest to the neshama. Then we light a candle. As I said, a braided candle. Why? The Medrash tells us that Adam and Eve, at the end of the first Shabbat of creation, it became dark. And they got frightened. So they were inspired by God, now that Shabbat is over, to rub 2 stones, and sparks of flames came out. So when they saw that, they thanked Hashem for the light, for the opportunity to be able to have light even in darkness. So on Motzei Shabbat, when we transition from Shabbat to the weekday, we know we're going into darkness. We thank God for giving us the light and the many colors of light, the many different flames, which benefit from flames, give us different benefits. It warms, it lights up the world. So the different benefits we have from the light, we thank God for it. And the reason why we reflect on the nails is one of them simply halachically, because when we make a blessing, we have to benefit, to see something concrete. So when we look, we reflect the nails, we can see the difference between the color of the skin and the nails, so we have a practical, concrete benefit. Also, it reminds us the nails which represent negativity, to reflect, to allow the nails to be affected by the light of Judaism and not for it not to be negative. But here is an interesting, as I said earlier, a thought that Rabbi Yankiv Emden. We are told that Shmuel HaKoten, who was one of the sages in Yavne, which was the bastion of Judaism after the destruction of the Second Temple, Shmuel HaKoten was humble, and he was called upon by Rabbi Gamliel, who was the Nasi of that time, to introduce a 19th prayer in the Amidah, the prayer of Elam al-Shinim, which is basically a prayer that the informers, the heretics, the wicked people should not be successful. Alti sikva, they should have no hope. And that was after the destruction of the temple, where the Jewish community was suffering a lot from these negative forces. The reason why Shmuel HaKoten was chosen, because of his humility. Says Rabbi Yankiv Emden, Malamalshini means separating from those people who are negative. It was done in the city of Yavne. Yavne represents Havdalah. The abbreviation for Yavne is Yain Besamim Ner Havdalah. Before you separate from somebody else, first invite them on a cup of wine. Gedoyle Legime Mekarev, drinking together, bring him some warmth, bring him into the beauty, into the friendship of Judaism. Allow him to smell the aroma, the beautiful smell of what Judaism is. Show him the light. Ner mitzvah v'toira oir. And only then, if God forbid, still insist of being separated, that's when you separate from him. But always remember what Shmuel HaKotten say, do not rejoice with the downfall of your enemy.